Welcome back to Gold Derby. I'm Christopher Rosen. I'm joined by Joyce Ing. Joyce, it's time for us. It's a great episode. We're going to look at all the very important Emmy episode submissions.
Very important.
Not
Are they
not really, I guess.
not at all?
Not at all.
No, no,
I feel like we do this every year, but it's never not worth doing to
no.
say
It's fun to talk about what shows and or what episodes shows and actors submitted.
and it gives you an opportunity, rightly so, to stump for the tape system where these episodes would matter.
They would matter under a tape system. Yes. And yeah, like under this system, the popular vote, branch voting, it's just a formality.
Mhm.
Like no one is gonna watch all of these episodes before casting their votes.
Correct.
So
And it's not gonna and a great episode is not gonna help someone win.
no, because it's like the the tape system because it's like a smaller group of people being forced to watch it and it's more manageable. Like they get like two categories and you could watch, like 12 episodes, right?
Mhm.
Like back in the day, they were forced to go in to a theater and watch all of them back to back.
Seems
But this
good.
it's like for shows like comedy series and drama series, each nominee has to submit 6 episodes from the season. So that's 48 plus 48. That's 96. No one is watching 96 hours of television before.
Also, in the past, if you submit 6 episodes, let's say it's like 20 years ago, you maybe are
It was
choosing
also 5 nominees back then.
you're choosing six out of like 24 or
Yeah, like
22.
like Slow Horses submitted their whole season because they only made 6 episodes.
I was gonna say, like a lot of these are just 6 episodes. Like you're not really missing
It's like
anything
six out
here.
of 10,
Yeah.
you know.
Uh, we just know we're not TV is not the same. We've talked about this a lot and it continues to come up where I'm just like,
Yeah, it was more interesting. I mean, like if it weren't for the strikes, ABBA would have had a 22 episode season, so they would
yes,
have had more to choose from. But they
right.
only had 14 this time because of the strikes. But yeah, it was more of a guessing game back
Yeah.
in the day of what like shows that produced 22 episode seasons. But like Modern Family, 24 episodes a season.
Got to only pick six. That makes it
Six are they
hard.
gonna pick?
Fallout is what, 8 episodes? They pick six of the eight? Okay,
Like,
cool.
but now it's like, what will they leave out?
Like, I guess those are the filler episodes that we don't have to worry about. I don't know. I mean, like, I'd love to know why. So we have the drama series. We're not going to go through all of these at all,
No,
really.
because it really doesn't matter that much again. Because like I also feel like if you have already seen these shows, like you're a fan of these shows and you've watched them, why would you go back and rewatch these episodes anyway?
Right.
Like maybe you might check out an episode of a show you have not watched, right? But I don't think you're gonna watch all of these submissions.
No.
So
I will say this again. I don't even know if I've watched all these episodes, Joyce.
probably not. And also like a lot of these shows, I don't know what these titles, like what episodes these titles refer to.
We talked about this in terms of no disrespect to the great Shogun, but on Shogun, the only episodes I know are Anjin, Crimson Sky, and A Dream of a Dream. Everything
Yeah,
else, I couldn't tell you a
yeah,
single
yeah.
title, not a thing
Well,
about
I've
them.
seen the titles in print, but I don't know what happens in them.
No, I've
You
watched
know?
the show. Remember
Yeah,
everything that happens.
I really enjoyed the show.
Great
Not the
show.
mayor though, but the rest of the show really enjoyed.
Not a clue of what episodes happen in what. Not maybe that says more about the way we watch things now. Maybe it says more about the way these shows are constructed. Maybe it makes it sense because everything's a long movie. I was just reading something and they did that again. It was another long movie. Do you remember? It was another first look of a coming show.
Which show?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to figure this out. Uh, I'll
How
think
long is this
about it today, and I'll let you know. Hang on, I'll figure it out right now because I remember what it was. Uh, Playing the do 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 do. It's disclaimer, Joyce. It was the
Oh,
Alfonso
of
Cuarón
course. Yes, yes.
disclaimer
This feels
show.
like 23 years ago.
He's like, it just is a long movie. I was
Yeah.
like, Joyce is gonna read this and throw the computer
I
to it.
did. I did. When I read that, I just rolled my eyes. It's all like
Uh,
film people love to talk this way.
and it's never and it's so easy to clock. It just happens all the
Yeah.
time.
Hmm.
I will say this, is what you said. Don't know all the episodes and this and that. Mr. and Mrs. Smith as a show I loved, right? So like I'm just gonna just use this as a highlight. And we talked about this in terms of the nominations. Man, they really did the fifth episode when they go to Lake Como, dirty because no Ron Perlman nomination, obviously, which we talked about is like should have maybe happened, and they didn't even put it in as one of the. There's only 8 episodes. That was one of the two that missed for them. They just left it out.
Yeah, so they submitted Mr. and Mrs. Smith, first date, second date,
Yes,
double date,
yes,
couples therapy, naked and afraid, infidelity, and a breakup.
right. So they missed the third episode, which is first vacation, I think, which is the Sharon Horgan episode.
Yeah, the skiing one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I agree, I didn't love that episode, but that's like a key episode in terms of their relationship. So I find it interesting that they just ignored that and went right to double date. Not that, like you said, if you already watch these shows, you're not going to care about these, and like you're not going to just be like, if you're gonna like, if you were fresh as newborn snow, right, or whatever, like newly fallen snow, Joyce, uh, and you're like, I don't know anything about Mr. and Mrs. Smith. I'm only gonna. Would you really just if there's only 8 episodes? Would you really just only watch the six that were submitted, or would you just like let it play? I guess.
Well, are we assuming this is like a voter sitting down to vote? I would
Yeah.
assume you would start with the first episode, which is the premiere. Like most new shows would submit the
Yes.
series
Which they
premiere.
did. Which they
Yeah,
did.
which they did. So I would assume you would do that. I guess it's just a matter of if the voter liked what they saw and if they would continue to watch it, or is
Right.
like a time thing. It's like I got to move on to another
Right.
show where I just got to vote now. You know, I
Yeah.
mean, maybe I'll finish the show on my own time
Another
later.
favor, as Joyce, just to shout out, and then we'll get to the acting categories. At least there's an individual episode submitted. Now, again, not that it matters, but it's maybe more fun to think about why they chose such an episode. But how about the morning show, Joyce? Any favorites in there?
So the morning show submitted The Carmen Line, Ghost in the Machine, White Noise, Love Island, The Stanford Student, and The Overview Effect.
Yes.
And I like sort of remember things that happen in some of these. Like I know like Carmen Line and Ghost in the Machine are the first two, and Overview Effect is the finale. Love Island, it's the fifth episode, iconic episode, aka January 6th.
It's it's January 6th and the flashback to the pandemic.
Yes, it follows Reese and Jules and their relationship.
Yes. And then also you get the January 6th button. It's fantastic.
Yes, just
Man,
a
the,
hilarious episode.
the newsroom walked so the show can run. I cannot wait. Did you see the paparazzi photos of Jennifer Aniston getting
Oh my
doused in
God. And
oil?
then I love the community note on Twitter about it because, you know,
Uh
a lot of idiots
that it
and
was real.
incels out there. Yeah, thought it was real.
Uh I cannot be more excited for a show to return than the morning show season 4. The casting, the idea that they're doing it again, everything about it. I cannot wait to see it.
So I like in terms of entertainment, um, and I guess like importance, like in terms of like the story, I understand the choice of Love Island, but it's not actually a good episode, but it's highly entertaining.
A lot of these, so like we'll get to this with the individual with the acting submissions. Love Island had multiple submissions for the morning show because I think Reese submitted it and Karen Pittman because that's like her
It's
character's
a good
baby.
episode for Karen.
And so I'm wondering with some of these, did they submit episodes that had like crossover there, right? Where it's like, well, like White Noise is Holland Taylor's submission and Nicole Bahari's submission,
Which
right?
is,
Like
a huge moment for both their
both
characters.
characters. So
Yeah.
I'm just like, I do wonder if that's like goes into the thinking a little. Like, well,
I mean, it's like so like the producers and strategists pick these for
yes,
series,
right,
and Reese is a producer,
yeah,
so is Jen.
right.
So yeah, like maybe it was like Reese stumping for like we got to submit Love Island,
It's
you
her
know?
big episode.
Yeah. Um, but I guess it's also like I feel like they know like they're probably not gonna win. It's kind of what Handmaid's Tale did like 3 years ago. Like they just
Mhm.
trolled everyone with their submissions because they knew they were not winning the
Right.
series. So they're just like, fuck off. Here are these LOL submissions, which was great. More people need to do that.
Love that. Absolutely love that. I guess let's do the any other on the shows before we get to the
On the
acting.
drama series,
Yeah.
I mean like The Crown did Persona Non Grata, Di Moi Oui, Aftermath, Wolves Mania. Ritz and Sleep Theory Sleep. I feel like most of these are obvious.
Yeah, very easy to figure out
You
why.
know, Fallout at the end, the target, the head, the ghouls, the trap in the beginning. This is another one where I know the end and the beginning and the ghouls, I guess, but like not so much the middle. The Gilded Age did You Don't Even Like Opera, some sort of trick, close enough to touch, warning shots, wonders never cease in terms of winning and losing.
Now that one's interesting because again, not that I know, not fluent in Gilded Age, Joyce, in terms of the episodes, but I will say interesting that the Carrie Coon's pick not represented here. Her episode
She
submission,
submitted head to head.
yes, I think is the
Yeah,
third episode.
spoiler alert. And then we did morning show. Was the Shogun. They did Anjin, Broken to the Fist, Ladies of the Willow World, The Abyss of Life, Crimson Sky, and A Dream of a Dream.
Hmm.
Slow Horses that just did the six that they had.
Great.
Three Body Problem, Countdown, Red Coast, Destroyer of Worlds, Judgment Day, Only Advance, and Wallfacer. That one will be 8 of 8 in the final tally.
Hmm.
It was probably 8 of 8 in terms of noms. No shade, but like,
No,
come on, it has no above the line nominations.
no,
So
kind of can figure it out.
yeah,
I guess let's look at the acting then. So we talked a few of these already, but for drama actress choice, Jennifer Aniston picked the overview effect, which is the finale.
mhm.
Big moment for Alex.
Great tape for Jen.
Great. Carrie Coon had head to head, which I think we said is the third episode. Maya Erskine did the finale of Mr. and Miss Smith, a breakup.
Great episode for her.
Fantastic. Maybe her best episode, I would say. Anna Sawai did Crimson Sky from Shogun.
Her big app.
Classic.
Mhm.
Can't miss. Imelda Staunton, Sleep Theory Sleep, the Crown finale. Her big episode, really. Like the reason that she's like probably nominated, this finale episode. And as we said, Reese did Love Island for the morning show.
That is a Reese's big episode, but performance wise, I think she's better in like the last two episodes of the season. Probably the penultimate, right? Because that's when she confronts her brother. Is it? It's
I think it
I
is.
only watched the season once, and it's been like 9 months,
I think
but,
it
or
is.
10 or 11 months now. Jesus Christ! But um,
I
yeah,
I could have seen her picking the penultimate episode or the finale, but I don't think her and Jem would have picked the same episode.
and Jen is like, is she's not in Love Island, right? Or is she
Mm-mm.
a little bit?
Mm. I mean, maybe
I know
she is, but
she,
it's mostly focused on the flashback stuff.
yeah, because there's usually like every season there's an episode where one of them is not in
Right.
or it's just in it a little bit, but um yeah, so yeah, I understand the choice of Love Island for her because it focuses on her character, but in terms of performance, I don't think it was the best choice,
Right.
you know.
And with this, like, I don't know, this doesn't like no disrespect to these
It
other
doesn't matter.
actors, but like it doesn't matter. But even if it did matter, I think Anna Sawai would still have the edge because she got the best tape of all these actresses.
Well, I think under the tape system, I don't think she would win because like her performance is not very showy. And like
Okay.
that's what under the tape system they respond to. Really. Like they respond more to like stuff that like Jen does in Overview Effect or even like Carrie in Head to Head or Maya. Like I feel like Anna might be a little low key for the tape system, but I mean that's just the character of Mariko. You
Right.
know, I think this is another one where I think the performance is good in Crimson Sky, but it's still kind of, and she's badass, but it's still very reserved. Like she doesn't have like the fireworks that some
So
of these other women
what
have
would
in
you
their
pick if
tapes.
it was the tape system? Who do you think would win?
I mean, like I could see like Jen, Carrie, Maya,
Maya might be a little reserved too, frankly.
but it's like
Since her
but
performance is so
it's
good.
more like the emotions are a lot more heightened.
Right.
You know, there's more. I feel like there's more tension in it,
Okay.
and like with Anna, like the tension is really. I feel like it's there. Like when you think she's about to kill herself, I get like there's tension there, but I think it's not the same as the tension in at the end of Mr. and Mrs. Smith
Right.
finale.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I think like overall they everyone here picked their best tape.
Yeah. Except for Reese, maybe.
Yeah, but I understand the choice.
Drama actor Idris Elba for Hijack picked Comply Slowly. Donald Glover did Couples Therapy, Naked and Afraid. Walton Goggins did The Ghouls from Fallout. Gary Oldman for Slow Horses did Footprints. Hiroyuki Sanada did The Abyss of Life. And Dominic West did Aftermath from The Crown.
I think overall these are good. Like
Yeah.
I understand them as well, you know?
Are you surprised that Donald Glover didn't pick the finale as well?
Um, Not really. I think the finale is more of a Maya episode.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Um, how do you feel about Heroes submission?
Well, like I said to you earlier, Joyce, couldn't tell you a single thing about that episode. I'm gonna have to Google it right now and see what happens in it. So I'm gonna do that live.
That
Doesn't
was
give me
the
away.
the eighth episode when, you know, the really, really dramatic scene at the end when his bestie,
A great sequence.
yeah.
Good episode. I don't know what you would pick for him otherwise. I think his options are maybe that,
The
Anjin, and the
finale,
finale.
yeah.
So like, I guess that, right? Like, that's definitely like one of the most memorable moments of the show. Uh, so I
He's
don't know.
yeah, because I like we've talked about with him, like just the character doesn't you don't get the full view of Toranaga and what he's up to until the end, until like the finale, literally.
Mhm.
So he's not really around that much in the first half.
Right,
Um, or like no, I mean like in terms of screen time doesn't really matter, but just like the like focus of like the stories, you know?
right. We both have. I think we both still have him winning, but we've toyed and probably will switch to Gary Oldman in the end. Do
I
you
mean,
think
great
that
episode for Gary.
finale for Slow Horses? Do you think like another demerit potentially for Hiroyuki Sanada is that uh Toranaga is such like unreadable and like there's nothing, you know what I mean? Like does that, not only is he not, arguably maybe it doesn't matter, but not only is he not like the main character in the show compared to like Gary on Slow Horses or like whatever, even in his own show. But is it like that the character, there's not a lot to latch onto that character and it's so slow to reveal like his plans that maybe it makes him a little more inscrutable than he needed to be for a win? Or does that not matter? If you like Shogun, you're gonna like him.
I think if you're a Shogun stan, you'll probably just love him. But I do think he's more vulnerable than Anna is in her category. Like we've talked about this before. I think it's harder to pinpoint an alternative for Anna.
Yeah.
Whereas here, I think most people would say Gary, especially with Slow Horse's overperformance.
Yeah.
So, and like, you know, before Shogun moved, Gary was in first place, you know, mostly as a placeholder for people. But imagine if Shogun hadn't moved and we got this Slow Horses overperformance, then we'll just be like, it's Gary.
And on the flip side, for actress, there really wasn't a consensus lead there. I mean, maybe it
I
was
mean,
like
before it
Jen,
moved, like Jen was in first, I
but like
think.
would Jen really be winning? You know what I mean? Like maybe, I guess
I mean, actors love morning show.
they do. Right? Where actors are right. It's a lot of fun. Um, for drama supporting actress, Joyce, the picks were Christine Baranski, the Gilded Age picked in terms of winning and losing, which I believe is the finale, like we just discussed. Nicole Bahari did White Noise. Elizabeth Debicki did this. How do you say this, Joyce?
Dimal Wee?
Di Maui. D. I was gonna
Dim
say dis moi oui.
yeah,
Di Maui. Well, no kidding. I understand why she picked that episode.
it doesn't even
Greta,
say yes.
yeah.
Dimal Wee.
Greta Lee
You know,
did the green
Moi
light.
and Wee.
Greta Lee did the green light, which is her big episode. For upfronts, I believe. Leslie Manville did the Crown episode Ritz, which is her big episode. Karen Pittman did Love Island, as we said, and Holland Taylor did White Noise as well. All these make sense to me,
Yeah. I mean, like Elizabeth was winning
obviously.
anyway, but it's like obviously Dimal Wee is her submission. And yeah, all these make sense. I don't know. I have no notes, really.
Great gowns, beautiful gowns.
Yeah. I mean, I think, you know, I think like all the morning show people picked episodes in which like they had the most to do and you could debate whether or not that's the right choice, like if they were maybe they had less focus in another episode and were better like in Reese's case maybe, but I think for supporting it kind of makes sense to pick the one in which you have the most story and probably more screen time too.
Drama supporting actor. Almost all of these make sense to me, but I had an issue with one. But the picks were Tatsunobu Asano picked Anjin for Shogun. Billy Crudup did Ghost of the Machine for the morning show. Mark Duplass did the finale of the morning show, which is the overview effect. John Hamm did the Green Light from the morning show, the Greta Lee episode as well, the upfronts one. Takehiro Hira did Crimson Sky. Jack Loudon did Hard Lessons, and Jonathan Pryce did Will's Mania from The Crown. So I think Tatsunobu Asano should have picked a different episode, probably the
I
finale.
Yeah, I would have gone the finale for him. Like that is just he gets this like, he's double dealing Yabu, but you at that point you love him so much. And even if you're unfamiliar with the show, if you just watch that episode cold, I think he's so charismatic and winning. Like you kind of understand why he's playing both sides, and so he elicits sympathy and he's hilarious. And then he gets a huge moment with Toranaga when, he explains
Yeah,
everything, Toranaga. So I think you should have gone with that. Anjin, I just don't like as an episode overall.
I agree. And I guess again, it's hard to imagine an Emmy voter who has not heard of it's just it's not realistic to imagine someone who's never watched this show before is now voting for the Emmys and will sit down and watch these episodes. Like that doesn't exist. But if there was such a vacuum, I think if you watched Anjin, you would just not be as appreciative of what Tatsunobu Asano is doing than what you
Yeah.
would in the finale. So that's why I would say it's not a great pick.
Yeah, like it obviously introduces his character and everything, or everyone. Um, but I think it's also very long, and they are introducing so many things that he can kind of get lost
Yeah.
in it. Like I'll be honest, like I didn't really like care about him in the first episode. Like I obviously noticed him, and he does things in the premiere, but it's really the subsequent episodes where you start to fall in love with him, and his like charisma really comes through.
Absolutely agree. And so not
Yeah.
again, doesn't matter, but just saying, like if it did,
Well, yeah, I think if it did, I think it would just be total slam dunk for Billy Crudup.
yeah. And I'm still like, I don't know. I still think he has the inside track, but I mean, maybe they'll go crazy for Shogun. I don't know, but would be a great winner.
Um, yeah, he'll be a great winner. I just don't know. I mean, it's like also I'm sure there are people out there who are predicting 3 acting wins for Shogun, which would be insane considering it underperformed with acting.
We
That would give it 3 wins out of 5 acting nominations.
we don't read the comments. I do. You don't read the
I
comments,
don't
but somebody commented that say it was crazy to say that Shogun underperformed. I did respond and say I think that's incorrect. That I think it did underperform in where we thought it could have
It
overperformed or performed.
underperformed in terms of odds, like if you're just looking in terms of math. Like
Yes.
it was like people had it getting triple supporting actors. Maybe you personally did not, but more people were predicting that than were not.
Yes.
So,
And supporting actress.
yeah, supporting it missed supporting actress completely. Like there were more people predicting it to hit those categories more than it did. It missed one completely.
Not great.
Yeah.
That's what we say when we say it underperformed. It doesn't. So
It
did the
doesn't mean
Bear.
it's like, yeah, it doesn't mean that it's the correct assumption, right? But it just means that more people were expecting this.
Right. And to ignore it would be to ignore reality.
Yeah.
Comedy series, Joyce. So these are again 6 episodes. Uh, I'll just read them off. I guess Abbott did Smoking Panel Party, Librarian, Alex, and Double Date.
Um, they're fine, I guess. I like Abbott this season.
Great season. Was really
Yeah.
good.
I mean, like Party was the finale. It was good. Um, Double Date, I wasn't like a total fan of, and that's also a TJ Dubs submission. Again, I think he just went for like the most screen time and like
Yeah.
focus. But yeah, I wasn't a big fan of that one because it felt like kind of out of character for Gregory. Like I know what they were going for. Um but it was kind of just like cringe throughout, really. Like I wanted it to be over.
I mean, they left off a lot of good episodes, I would say. I guess, like
Yeah.
you said, having it there, unlike some of these other shows, which have like 10 episodes, it's harder to pick even from 13. But I like really like the Playground episode, Smith Playground, it's called. That was the penultimate episode.
Yeah.
I thought that was a winner, and that could have been Tyler's submission also to me.
Tyler could have also done the goofballs one when he
Yep,
does the garden thing. Um I like To Ava Too Fast.
another good one.
That was fun.
Really good Ava episode. The Bear did honeydew, pop, fishes, forks, omelet, and the Bear. No surprises there.
Totally fine. Sure. Doesn't matter.
Curb, Atlanta, Fish Stuck, The Gettysburg Address, The Dream Scheme, Ken Kendra, and No Lessons Learned.
Sure.
Hacks did Just for Laughs, which is the premiere, right?
Hmm.
Better Late, The Roast of Deborah Vance, Par for the Course, Yes and Bulletproof.
No Christmas.
No Christmas episode. Shocking, maybe, but maybe not.
I don't know. I mean, like, what would you have replaced? I guess Par for the Course, but I think that's important too to set up the bulletproof, you know. That's the sixth one at the Langham.
I really liked One Day. That would seem polarizing among Hacks fans. And I'm not surprised maybe they didn't pick it, but I like that one.
Um, I think like when tapes used to matter, they also used to split them into actual tapes, like put two episodes on each, so it's tape A, B, and C, and then they get randomized and sent. So you also wanted to do good pairings, you know,
Yeah,
um, which doesn't matter here because they're all just online and you could just
right.
watch them. But I guess I understand the flow of this.
Me too. Only Murders did The Show Must, Grab Your Hankies, Cobra, Sits Probe, 30, and Opening Night. So a couple of bangers in there.
Hmm. Yeah.
Palm Royale did the pilot. Maxine rolls the dice. Maxine shakes the tree. Maxine takes a step. Maxine bags a prince. Maxine throws a party. That's the finale.
Yeah. Are most of these from the back half?
Let's take a look.
Because, well, I guess when like Carol wakes up from her coma, was it like mid-season?
No, a lot of these aren't from the back half. They're all
Okay.
from the front half, actually.
And then the finale?
And then the finale. The pilot, what read hang on, let me see. The pilot is one. Maxine rolls the dice is the fourth episode. Shakes the tree is the fifth episode. I guess this is most of the back half. Takes a step is the sixth episode. So
Yeah,
four,
you said
five,
back half.
six, and then
Yes.
seven.
Yeah, because I was gonna say that makes sense that it's like mostly the back half.
Well, it's kind of the middle. It's one, four, five, six,
Yeah.
seven, and then 10. So they skipped like eight and nine get a little wacky, if I remember.
This is a case where the season, like 10 episodes might have been too long.
Reservation Dogs did Maximus, Dear Lady, House Made of Bongs, Frankfurter Sandwich, Send It, and Dig, which is the finale.
Series finale.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um, I think these are pretty good picks, I guess.
Yeah, for Res Dogs. Yeah. I
I would
mean,
like it was I personally thought like this just I watched all Reservation Dogs. Good show.
you
This
agree with
season
the E6?
I would have picked well, Alora's dad I thought was great. That's the penultimate episode. Ethan Hawke
Yeah.
is in it. I thought that one was really
It was
good.
not submitted.
Not submitted.
He wasn't submitted.
Let me see what else I liked in this season. And I liked the fourth episode, Friday, I thought was really good. That's after the Dear Lady. And I'm surprised they didn't pick the premiere, which is Bussin', which was also really good. They just went right to the second episode. But what are you gonna do?
It's fine. I think it's just important to get like Dear Lady in there.
Yeah.
So
And what we do in the shadows: Pride Parade, local news, urgent care, hybrid creatures, weekend at Morgan Manor, and exit interview.
yeah, got Pride Parade in there. So great.
So let's do the individual, right? The acting one. Let's see. Quinta Brunson did Party for Abbott Elementary. Io Debris did Sunday for The Bear, not Omelet. Surprised? I guess we'll talk about it in a second. Selena Gomez did Ghostlight. Maya Rudolph did Space for Everyone from Loot. Jean did Yes and from Hacks. And Kristen Wiig did Maxine Throws a Party for Palm Royale.
I am not surprised by Aya. I think she's another one who just picked an episode in which she had a lot to do. That's when she eats her way through Chicago, which is impossible
Yes.
for what they showed.
Right.
It was yeah, her doing that, and like Carmi stood her up, or didn't stand her up. He bails on her for Claire Bear. So she just
Right.
goes on her own and she comes up with a dish. And yeah, like that at the end is when she comes back and she sees that they knocked down the wall and he never consulted her about it, so she's pissed.
Right.
So um I think it's a fine episode for her. Like I understand why she picked it.
Okay.
So I don't think it's her best, but I don't know. Yeah, I guess like Omelet would have been the other choice. I don't know if she really had like a go-to obvious episode in season two.
No.
So
How about Yes and for Jean? All these other ones are pretty obvious, so I'm not surprised.
um I think Regine, it was gonna be this or One Day. And I understand this
Hmm.
too, because it's forcing Deborah to deal with cancel culture.
It's
And
great stuff for Jean.
yeah, she gets to do a lot of stuff. Like she gets to be fun and wacky when she does the improv and she's partying at the frat house. And then you also kind of, for the old guard of voters, I think they would understand her frustration and her defiance at being canceled, especially when she says like she's exhausted, when like she and Ava are talking in the dorm room,
Hmm.
the frat house room. And um and then you get the she and then she's contrite, she apologizes and she listens to the students, and then you get the euphoria at the end when Jimmy comes and tells her she got late night, right? And like, I mean, while the show sometimes dips into sentimental territory and has kind of like sweet moments, I think like that group hug is the first time where they're actively like going for tears almost. It's like they really want to earn this really sweet moment, and it is earned, I feel like, with that. And then the B story of that episode is, like she was double booked and she couldn't go to Palm Springs for the House of Vance activation, and Marcus is pissed at her. But then he has that moment at the bar with Tim Begley when Tim is like, we just like, she's the best. Like we've been fans, since the beginning, and now we just got to share her with people. So I think it's also great to have the duality of, we understand why she's getting canceled for her old problematic jokes, but then we also understand like how important she is
Hmm.
for a group of people. So
Yeah,
I think it's a good tape for her. But
I
yeah,
agree.
they've already seen the show, so it doesn't
Doesn't
matter.
matter. Comedy actor Matt Berry did Pride Parade for What We Do in the Shadows. Larry David did Vertical Chop, Horizontal Tug. Steve Martin for Only Murders did Sits Probe. Martin Short did Ah Love. Jeremy Allen White did The Bear from The Bear, and Defaro Unitai did Maximus from Reservation Dogs.
Great tape for DeFaro.
Really great.
Um,
He's just
and
it's
also
just
for
him and
Matt.
Graham Greene in the episode, right?
Yeah. Are you surprised Steve didn't do the White Room?
No, Sits Probe is amazing. He's so good in it, and he gets his big number. He has
I
to do
think
the
I think
number.
that's why he did it, because like that's also the nominated song.
The White Room is like fine.
The White Room is like his Love Island.
Yeah, he
Um,
made the right choice.
Martin, I don't know what I guess he could have done, what was it, like the second episode when he has his heart attack,
Well,
right?
he has a heart attack in Sits Probe.
Um, no, for Martin Short. For because like in the because then that's early in the season, and then that's when he decides, because then he's resting or he's sleeping, and then he dreams the musical sequence, and then he decides
Hmm.
to turn Death Rattle into a musical. I love is just, when when he loses his tooth and he goes on the date with
Mm-hmm.
Meryl, which is very sweet. I like it a lot.
Really good.
I don't know, but Jeremy's winning, so
For supporting actor, oh sorry, supporting actress first. Cara Burnett did Maxine Shakes the Tree. Surprising that she didn't pick Maxine Throws the Party because I think she's actually great in the finale, but okay.
But like this is a great physical comedy episode for her.
It is. Liza Colon Zayas did Pop from The Bear. Hannah Einbinder did Bulletproof for Hacks. Janelle James did Career Day Part 1 for Abbott. Cheryl Lee Ralph did Librarian for Abbott. And Meryl did Grab Your Hankies.
All these are very obvious.
Yeah.
I think Liza probably is the one who didn't have an obvious episode to pick of these
This is
people.
the one where she goes to culinary school.
Yeah, and then she's like working on a dish with Sydney, you know. And she's worried about Ibra cutting class. Yeah. But like all of these other people, I mean, like Cheryl had a plethora of options. Like she could have also done the Mother's Day
I was
episode.
thinking she would do the Mother's Day episode, but the librarian one actually makes more sense. If
Yeah,
Lisa Ann Walter got in, she would have done Mother's Day, I think.
yeah. And Meryl obviously she sings.
Great.
Um, Janelle, yeah, that's the season premiere. You get to see like the new Ava before
Yeah.
she back into the old Ava. Obviously Hannah, Bulletproof, of course. So
Hannah winning probably for Bulletproof.
this is like I think like for some people, they would win under both systems. And I know she hasn't won yet, but I think like that would be the case here
Okay.
for Hannah. Like I think under the tape system, Meryl would probably give her the chase, the run for her money. Because you
Yeah,
get like
definitely.
you get tears from
Yeah,
Meryl.
it's great. She's so
Yeah.
great. Great song as well. For supporting actor in a comedy, Lionel Boyce did Honeydew for The Bear. Paul Downs did Bulletproof for Hacks. Evan Moss Backrack did Forks for The Bear. Paul Rudd did 30 for Only Murders. Tyler James Williams did Double Date. And Bowen Yang picked the Emma Stone episode of SNL.
I have no idea what happened in that because I don't watch SNL. So what did
Okay.
he
I'll
do?
look.
What were the sketches that he was in?
Bowen. Let me see.
This is another one though where very obvious picks for most of these people. So
I'm reading our own article, Joyce, on the episode submission at
wow.
goldderby.com.
Wow.
In this installment, Yang once again portrays disgraced Congressman George Santos, aka, quote, the proud gay thief, in the cold open. Later, the SNL cast member appears as a record label executive for Mama Cass, Chloe Trost, a keyboard player at a tree lighting gig alongside Stone and Kenan Thompson, and a singer who goes fully naked in New York with Stone on a garbage truck.
Wow. I don't know what else he did this season.
All these make sense. Are you surprised Paul picked Bulletproof and not the pickleball episode with
No,
Helen
because
Hunt?
this he gets a lot of range in this episode too. And because in the beginning you see him try to protect Kayla,
Yeah.
from Catherine Newton. He thinks he's doing a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then she tells him, you're not actually, because you don't respect me, really. You think I'm an idiot. And then we get the plane scene. And we also get that nice scene between him and Hannah,
Great.
the aftermath of Ava
What
and
does he
Deborah's
tell her
death.
they're looking for now?
Oh, they're no longer looking for Black Joy or noisy
Noisy
concepts. It's
concepts.
it's just like what's it? It's like global hits that what was it? Oh my God, it was so funny.
It's good.
It's like global hits that will play well or something. Oh my God. It's great.
And then for limited series, only the supporting actors get submissions, Joyce.
Yes.
So for supporting actress, Dakota Fanning picked the eighth episode, which is the finale for Ripley.
Mhm.
Lily Gladstone did Mercy Alone. Jessica Gunning did episode 1 for Baby Reindeer. Aja Naomi King did Lessons in Chemistry episode Perot. Diane Lane did Impossible for Feud. Nava Mao did episode 5 from Baby Reindeer. And Callie Reese did part 4 from True Detective.
Um, I think these are fine overall,
Mercy Alone is the 8th episode of Under the Bridge.
which is they put the button on
Mm-hmm.
Cam's family
Yeah.
story. So
And the finale for Dakota, I think, is pretty good. for Ripley? Isn't that the finale? The eighth episode?
She gets, I'm trying to, because she gets the scene with
Hmm.
his dad and the cop, right? In that one? Is it that?
Yeah,
I only watched this once. So.
yeah. So I think that's
Um,
good. And the Baby Reindeer ones feel right to me also.
yeah, like I guess you could, I mean, for Jess it doesn't matter because she's gonna win, but I guess you could debate if the premiere was the right one, but I think it is because you get the introduction to her and you get to experience Martha at full range, like you see how she has like won him over and everything before like the turn
Yes.
later on. And then I think Nava is good too, because that's the one where like he's living with her, right? Donnie is living with her.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think that's like I'm actually glad she didn't submit. I think it's the third one when she gets assaulted by Martha, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, I think she has like you I think that would have been like easy and maybe also kind of cheap too, but here I think you get like a better view of Terry as a character in five. And then Asia's episode was obvious because that's hers. So,
Yes.
and yeah.
Uh, for actor choice, Jonathan Bailey is still TBA. It says
This is just like Merritt Weaver last year who did not reveal her submission.
Robert Downey Jr. picked "Love It or Leave It" from The Sympathizer.
I don't
I have
remember what that
notes
one
on that one.
I don't remember what it is.
It's the third episode, Joyce. It
What
it
happened in
is
that one?
looks like the one with Sandra Oh as well. I think this is the one where so for Downey, at an event hosted by Congressman Ned Godwin Downey, the general makes clear that O needs to be eliminated. Then the captain informs Claude of the murder, with Claude revealing that blah blah blah. They meet with Godwin, Hammer, and this is the one with the four Downeys at the end.
Oh, okay. Okay. I understand.
I get it, but
Yeah,
he
I
should
get
have
it.
taken episode four. Would be my take, which is
A great episode. It's the
really one
movie.
of the best episodes of the whole year in any show. Uh, Tom Goodman Hill did episode four, Baby Reindeer. Shocker.
He only had two choices, so is that or the
Uh,
finale in which he's in for like 5 minutes.
John Hawkes did part five of True Detective. Lamorne Morris did Blanket from Fargo. Lewis Pullman did Her and Him from Lessons in Chemistry. And Treat Williams, like Diane Lane, did Impossible from Feud.
So I think like the only one you could sort of question is Lewis. Like he had like a whole flashback episode to himself later on, and he didn't submit that one. Um, but I guess I also understand uh Her and Him, which is the second episode, is a really good episode, and that's when he spoiler alert dies.
Yeah, and it's a big shock, I think, if you haven't read the book or anything, because he's obviously set up as like a co-lead of the show.
Yeah, and the episode is great because it's also, they fall in love and everything,
Yeah,
and it
I think it's a really nice
it's really
pick.
nice.
I do.
I guess also if like you didn't finish the show, because I think his episode is like seventh or something later on. Maybe you remember watching the first two episodes and then like the shock of him dying,
Yeah.
you know.
And that's it, Joyce. Episode submissions.
Um, they don't really matter, but they're fun to talk about and judge people for.
We love judging. Joyce, you have a lot of emails to get to.
Well, it's been 2 weeks since we recorded
2 weeks
in
since
real
we
life.
recorded. The magic of pre-recording. We'll do it again later this summer, probably. But for now, let's go to the emails. This first one is from we've never gotten person. I don't believe we've gotten one from this person, but Luca is the name. Hi, comma.
Wow.
I'm interested if you see Selena Gomez winning an Emmy for future seasons of Only Murders in the Building now that she has secured her first nomination. Maybe for the last season. I love that show and her performance, and I would love for her to get recognized. Thank you, period. It's from Luca.
Wow. So formal.
Very formal,
Very formal, Luca.
to the point.
Hmm. Well, I mean, who knows what happened in the future, but she did the hard part of getting in for the first time this year.
My take is it would have to run for a lot of seasons, and a lot of shows would have to clear out because I just feel like she's behind a line of other people who would probably
Hacks would have to end.
Hacks would have to end. Uh, the Bear would have to end. Abbott would have to degrade in quality. Loot would have to not
Have
return,
Maya Rudolph.
and then any new shows would not have to exist. Like I feel like she'll
Yeah,
always be
like there
behind those
can't be like a
people.
breakout new show.
Because if Gene wasn't there, I think Io would definitely win this year.
Yeah, if Jean's not there, it'll be Io, and if Io's not there, it would be
Be
Quinta
Quinta
as
again,
defending champion. If
and
Quinta's not there, Maya. If Maya's not there,
and
Kristen.
then maybe Selena.
And
I
then
actually think, yeah,
yeah.
like so.
Um yeah, I mean like who knows, maybe maybe that will happen, right? There'll be a very weak competition or she'll have like great material
Now, what if she gets? Here's how she can win an Emmy. I would say
as a producer.
at the Oscars, executive producer of the Oscars, if they host this year with the two of them and her, which would be fantastic in my opinion. And then they win.
But the Oscars also haven't won that category, Variety Special Live, in a while.
And yeah, what
So
if they did this year, or when they host?
after the trio hosts.
Yes, that would be a way to get her to win. I don't think she would do this because she's definitely a lead. But if she wanted to fraud her, one of these years, if those shows clear out and she got frauded into supporting, she also probably have a better shot of winning. I don't think she should do that though. But
No, she's a lead. All
yeah,
three of them are leads. No, but I mean, maybe, she will win in the future for another show. Maybe it's not going to be for Murders.
what if
I
she's a
love Murders,
future?
but
What if she's a future Oscar nominee this year for
for Amelia
Amelia
Perez.
Perez?
Do you
She
think
could
she's
be
going to
for
win an
music,
Oscar?
right? Not just her performance. I think she sings in it too. Maybe there's an original song coming
Are
her
you
way.
gonna are you gonna predict her?
I don't have her in for supporting actress right now, but I would probably have her in for song, depending on what's there. She said it was one of the best experiences of her career outside of Spring Breakers in film.
I mean, this has just been a great year for her overall. So
Fantastic.
yeah.
I'm very excited for the fourth season to return, Joyce.
It's coming back in 3 weeks.
Can't wait. This one is from our old pal David R., or you might remember him as Grammar Dave.
Wow, it's been a while.
And for listeners who are regulars, you will get these references, but I'll have to explain. A few weeks ago, you'll also remember another regular listener named Mike, who does the games. Basically, I told to shut the fuck up in the comments, and then Mike commented back.
There's beef in the YouTube comments, allegedly or apparently. I don't know.
Well, masks are coming off here this week for David R.
Holy shit.
Joyce, the way you summed up the plot of Trip to Bountiful on our Oscars playback episode to quote, old lady wants to go home, made me literally LOL at 4 a.m. when I was watching your recent Oscars playback. By the way, I am the one who told Game Master Matt, or is it Mike,
Oh, wow.
to fuck
Wow.
off and get his own podcast in the
That is
comments.
savage.
I want to apologize to him for just suggesting he should get his own podcast. The world doesn't need another podcast. Seriously, just busting your chops. But seriously, enough with the games. Peace and love, David R., aka Grammar Dave.
Is this it? That's just the whole thing.
That was it. And I got bad news for David R. Mike's back with another game in a little bit. So
Are we just like mediators of this feud now?
apparently, this is
Is
going
this
to
like feud
be,
season 3?
yeah, or maybe 4, right? Or feud season 3, I guess, because the Aaron Hernandez story is not a feud.
That's
It's
that's
American Crime.
that's ass.
Yes.
American sports
American
story.
sports story. Can't wait.
We're still waiting for ALS, American Love Story.
Yeah. I'm excited for my favorite West Side Story star, Rachel Zegler, to keep pumping out the promo for
She's
Aaron
so proud of
Hernandez.
her guy.
Yeah.
Um, I also don't remember saying about Trip to Bountiful, but I do think that's accurate.
We record those Oscars playbacks a
That
long
was like
time
we did
ago.
that in like May, I think.
I was listening to ours today, the one that we're recording this on a Tuesday. This week's episode is about the Platoon Oscars, 1987 Oscars, and I gotta say we have really great prescient stuff in there about like Ryan Reynolds. I made a reference to, which is
What
Deadpool is
did you
obviously in
say?
it. I said that his shtick was a lot like Ferris Bueller from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, but I will say we missed the boat in a couple of these episodes from listening back on the cultural impact slash cringe hide under the galaxy embarrassment of brats. Because we talk a lot about the Brat Pack, but don't mention brats in our shows.
Well, at that point, we hadn't seen it yet because
Yeah,
Bratz dropped on June 13th. I don't think
correct.
we had screeners yet at
No.
that point either. I have seen Bratz, which was fine, like very okay.
Wow. I was like hiding my eyes. I thought it was just cringe
It
to the
was,
highest
well,
degree.
I think like what Andrew was doing was cringe because he's the one who just has not moved on. Whereas like
Yeah.
everyone he talked to was like, we've moved on. Like we don't
Everyone,
care.
it was a great documentary because everyone, he's like, they come in and they're like,
He's so pressed about it, and everyone's just like, dude, get over it.
and they're also like all excited to talk about what a great time they had. And then he
Yeah.
comes in and he's like, didn't that suck? And they're just like,
He's
no, it's
such a Debbie
awesome.
Downer. Yeah.
Rob Lowe is
Well,
the best in
I
that.
love when like he opened with Emilio, because I love Emilio, but I just love
Emilio.
like, Emilio also doesn't talk about this. Like he does not like I shouldn't say he doesn't like talking about it, but he just doesn't really talk about like old stuff, right?
Yeah.
But he did it for him because they're, friends. But I just love that they had that whole conversation, like standing at his kitchen counter. Like they never sit down. Emilio's just kind of like humoring him. He was like, yeah, it sucked at a time, but like
It's
move on, dude.
unbearable to watch. I would
It's
love to. That might be all the footage he has of being in Emilio's house.
Yeah, because then he leaves because like they never. It's just like them. Like it's Emilio never is like come sit down.
Uh, but Rob Lowe, Demi Moore,
Rob Lowe's the
and
best. I love Rob.
Rob's great. Demi Moore, I thought was great, and I
Yeah,
loved Howard Deutsch. I thought he was wonderful.
he
That
was good.
guy, what a lottery winner for Howard Deutsch. Marries Leah Thompson. His daughter is Zoe Deutsch, super successful, having a great life. Guys directed great
Well,
movies. That what a
so I
life.
love that Howie like that conversation was like literally in their kitchen and like they had just like eaten breakfast or something or gone grocery shopping and like crackers and cookies were on the
Seemed
counter
like
and
they'd just gone shopping.
yeah, and then his convo with Leah is like on a bench in the park. It was just
So
great.
funny.
But yeah, like Rob was great because he's just like he has a good sense of humor about everything. Like he's been through a lot of shit in the past, in the 80s especially.
Yeah.
And yeah, like because Andrew like literally asked him like, how do you just have like such a positive perspective on this? And he's just like, you just gotta roll with it and like gotta laugh. And he's like, like people are still talking about us like 40 years later. That's great. You have to look at it that way. And
I
then I think like Demi got through to him the most because she did so much therapy speak, but I think that actually worked for him.
I really liked Rob Lowe, what Rob Lowe was saying about like how movies were like designed around like youth culture. I thought was like really interesting. And, like his
Mhm.
takes on the industry, I found like really like smart.
Yeah,
So
there's some good stuff in there about like the culture at the time and the rise of VHS. And then I also love the segment about like the importance of music in those films back then too. That was really good. Um, and then yeah.
it made me want
I
to
love
watch.
I love the running joke of like him never getting Judd was it's just like I mean Judd is like I'm not doing this.
No, it made
Molly,
me
of
laugh.
course, not doing it either.
And then he called. I mean, he said that Judd was going to do it, right, or whatever. He called. I don't know. Whatever.
Well, he was at one point he like lands in LA. He's like Rob's rescheduled on me for the fourth time. And like Judd, like no one knows where Judd is.
Great.
Like Judd is not doing this.
Uh, this one's from Jason Joyce. Emailed us at slugfest@goldderby.com. I guess I should give the email out. Please email us at slugfest@goldderby.com. I think we're gonna just put this in the bin, but I'm gonna read it anyway. Hi guys, I
Oh,
enjoy
is
watching
it
you too.
outdated?
What's that?
Is it outdated?
No, it just is something I don't think we would do.
Oh.
Uh, Hi guys, but I want to read it because Jason, I respect all listeners, and you took the time to send it in. Hi guys, I enjoy watching you two and hearing your awards insight. I have a game you guys could play or dedicate an entire episode to. Rank all the nominees in every category by either your favorites or what you think is actually deserving of the win. I'm looking forward to hearing your opinions. Thanks. That's from Jason.
I don't rank stuff.
We don't rank
Really.
stuff, and we don't usually do like should win or will win,
No,
that
because
kind
I
of
don't
shit.
think that's like my opinion on what should win is not important because I'm not voting
And
for
I
any
guess
of
if
them.
you were listening to us, like a lot of the people that'll end up winning, I think will should like I'm all in on like Hacks and Hannah Einbinder, obviously. You know what I mean? Like that's great.
Yeah, I think we're pretty transparent about our faves. Like we love
Yeah.
hacks this season.
Mr.
So
and Mrs. Smith, love that.
yeah. But I don't like outside of like my top fave of something, like I don't really think about everything else in the category.
Right. But Jason,
So
we'll you'll just keep listening carefully, you'll figure out what we like. Uh this one is from Nancy, another longtime listener. It's a movie one, Joyce, but I'm going to read it anyway because I think it's funny. Hi, Joyce and Chris. After Warner Brothers removed the August theatrical release for Horizon Chapter 2, it was announced that it will be screened at the Venice Film Festival along with Chapter 1. Does this influence WB to release the film sometime this year? Does either film increase its chances to get nominations outside of Razzies during award season? That's from Nancy.
No, probably not. I don't.
Still haven't seen Horizon, Joy. Still waiting for a good time. I think it's not even in theaters anymore. So
No, they pulled part one because my friend's husband wanted to see it and he didn't have time, so he was upset that it was already pulled. And obviously now part two, he even if he does see part one, who knows if he will ever see part two.
will he ever have the opportunity to see more?
Exactly. So, and I don't think WB would release it after how part one did. Um, and then awards, I don't really foresee anything.
Here's the problem with this movie.
But
Even if it was great and it was like a hit, two parts to me is just like no. There's no to me no consensus on like what would even get nominated or submitted or
yeah, I think it's like both in 1 year, you know, and
like this is something we're gonna have to deal with in the future with the Beatles movies, Joyce.
that one, like every day more and more, I'm just like, will that actually happen that way?
I don't know how if your goal of those movies is to make a lot of money or to have them be like kind of an event. I think there's a novelty the four movies coming out in the same year with the same actors playing the Beatles
Yeah.
at different focuses. But like, how would you ever do like with legitimate actors, right? Like if Paul Mescal is in it playing like John Lennon, like that's an Oscar nomination waiting to happen. But how would you pick his movie, or do you put him in there and
Well,
then
I
submit him
guess it would
three
just be like
times,
the John movie,
and then that's it? He's in for that, but would he also get in for supporting? And which movie would he get? I don't know how it works, but
I
whatever.
don't know. I mean, it could also just be like a total commercial thing, and it's like we don't care about awards at all.
Right.
We're not gonna, not that that would preclude people from nominating them,
Or
because
predicting them.
yeah.
Joyce, this one is from KM, another longtime listener, has a little beef with us.
Oh, great.
I think it's good natured beef, but I'm going to read it anyway. Hi, Joyce and Chris. I just closed tab on your latest experts typing column, and
Great.
I think you guys are working hard to make the comedy series race a close one. Emmy voters have shown us they are reluctant to change many times. I understand all your points about the Bears' vulnerabilities, but I would only really entertain a loss in the series category if a new series was in the number 2 spot. I mean, Hacks has already failed to win series twice, and we're talking about the Bear having a floor with a floor of 3 wins above the line as a reigning champ. That should be enough to win series with a sizable gap in my mind. I love your show. You're both great. Don't hate me. That's from KM.
Um, yes, but also neither of us is predicting hacks, so
I
I
think
don't
we
really
we
understand.
typed around it, but it would take it would be like
Like,
moving a
wait, that
mountain.
that column was more about like what it would take for hacks to win, but we weren't actually, neither of us were like, we both have the bear winning.
I have the Bear winning, and nothing honestly would
Yeah,
disabuse
like
me
I
from
haven't
that notion.
changed anything. And I think all I said was it would really depend on like hacks winning casting and like an overperformance at creative arts and a bare underperformance at creative arts, which I don't really expect.
And I honestly, even if those all of those stipulations happen, I still think the Bear would. I just think the Bear will
Yeah,
win series. Like I
yeah.
do think that, and it'll win
Like I've
Jeremy.
always said I think it'll be like Ted season two.
Yeah, I
It'll
think
win
it'll
the
win
season.
series. I think it'll win Jeremy and Eben and directing, and I think Hacks will win actress, supporting actress, and writing. I do
Yeah.
think Hacks will win writing, and I don't think like that shows that the Hacks should win series. I would prefer Hacks to win series, but I don't think it
Yeah, I
should.
think Hacks has a better chance of winning series at the Winter Awards coming up. So
And that'll be
when it's
interesting,
actually
I'd
competing
say.
against the Bears season three.
So if Hacks wins series at one of these winter awards for season 3 of Hacks versus season 3 of The Bear, and then we go into the spring with season 4 of Hacks, presumably back, right? In time. So season 4 of Hacks with the momentum of the season 3 win in the winter versus a third season of The Bear that people were mixed on. Is that put Hacks ahead for good?
I mean, I would say so if you're going to give Hacks, like, are you saying Hacks just swept the guilds like PGA, WGA, SAG? I think SAG would be the hardest for it to win, actually.
Me too.
ensemble. But Gene will probably win again, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, because that's also like it's also unclear now if the Bear season 4 will be back next year because like they tried to film it concurrently with season 3 earlier this year, but they've since said like they weren't totally done with it.
Yeah, I wonder if
Like
that's.
they filmed some of it, but now like all the actors are off, doing Fantastic Four and shit. So
Do you think that's also a play to be like, actually, season 4 is 2 parts, and we're gonna just do a fifth season that's not a fifth season?
no, I think like they just because like Evan gave that interview with like The Guardian or whatever a couple weeks ago when he was like, "Oh, I think we shot 18 episodes or something." So it's like they might already have 8 in the can for next season.
And do like a 4A, and then do like 6 episode final episodes for the next cycle.
I don't know what's happening, but like maybe there's a chance season 4 doesn't premiere next June. So
I feel
it
like it.
won't.
I don't know. I feel like it will, but who knows? I guess we don't
I
know.
mean, I don't know. Like the way they're talking about it, it's like because I also don't know if they're gonna because they usually film in like Q1 of the calendar year because they have, very short post. So I don't know if they're even able to do that in early 2025 with how busy these actors are now, because that's why they were trying to film 2 seasons at once this year too.
It's true.
But I don't know.
Here's Mike Joyce with a game.
Is a Grammar David skipping
Grammar
this
David,
skip this part.
skip this part. Put fingers in your ears. Hi, Joyce and Chris. It's me again, Game Master, and the guy who is having a brat summer, Mike. Once again, thanks for entertaining my presumed innocent question. It is sad that Peter Sarsgaard won't be returning for the second season, but who knows? Maybe Jake will use his brother-in-law power to convince him, or ask his sister Maggie to help convince Peter to play Tommy Molto again. For the love of God, Peter, just take the money. LOL. I'm gonna pause here. Peter Sarsgaard, I salute you because absolutely things should end, and there should not be a second season of Presumed
There should
Innocent.
not. This should be a limited series.
And good for
And
him.
yeah, I mean, like it's unclear whether they're gonna turn the show into an anthology series with a new cast, new case every season, or if
That
they're gonna try to make it a drama like Shogun style with
I,
like same
I feel
characters.
like they should do an anthology, but who knows?
Yeah.
Anyway, after weeks of delay, we're going to play another game again. Similar mechanics as last time. I will name an Emmy-winning role in the drama actor category, and you two will recast with an '80s Oscar Best Actor winner.
Oh God.
Once again, you have free reign to repeat an answer if you want. It doesn't exactly need to be them at the specific time they won. Also, listeners are welcome to join in and play the game through the comments as well. Are you ready? Let's go. The
Grammar David
choices
will
are
not be playing.
so here are the choices: Robert De Niro, obviously, for Raging Bull, Henry Fonda for On Golden Pond, Ben Kingsley for Gandhi, Robert Duvall for Tender Mercies, F. Murray Abraham for Amadeus, William Hurt for Kiss of the Spider Woman, Paul Newman for Color of Money, Michael Douglas for Wall Street, Dustin Hoffman for Rain Man, and Daniel Day-Lewis for My Left Foot. The characters are Tony Soprano in The Sopranos, Joyce.
I mean, that's gotta be De Niro, right?
Makes sense. For Breaking Bad, Walter White.
Hmm. I don't I feel like these 80s winners are like too movie starish
I
for
That's why
Walter
I was
White.
thinking, like, what about F. Murray Abraham for this?
Yeah, maybe.
Or William Hurt?
Yeah, I think it would be Murray or Bill.
I think Bill would be good because I think he could play knowing what we know about him in real life. I think he'd be able to play the shades of the character, the turn
And
pretty
who
well.
wears glasses already?
Exactly right. Don Draper from Mad Men. This one, obviously Michael Douglas, right, for Wall Street.
Oh yeah, just so slick.
Andy Sipowicz in NYPD Blue.
Um, I don't. Hmm. I feel like none of them fit either.
I thought Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah, of the ones that are left, I guess so.
But we could also repeat if you want to repeat. You would say De Niro? I don't
Oh,
know.
we don't have to
Yeah, we
just
could repeat if you
we can
want.
leave people on the table.
Yeah. I,
I could see De Niro.
I don't know. I could see De Niro or Hoffman. I think Hoffman would maybe
Yeah.
pull it off. Alan Shore from Boston Legal.
Oh my God. That's so like actually I could see Robert Duvall doing that,
I was
honestly.
thinking that too, frankly. He's not smarmy like
But to just
James
like
Spader.
delivering the David E. Kelly dialogue.
I mean, the other option would be William Hurt. I think would also be smarmy enough to do it. I think Paul Newman is too likable to do it. Kendall Roy for Succession.
DDL, of course.
Clearly DDL.
His idol, his
Like
mentor.
obviously with DDL. And then Roman Roy, also for Succession, from this group.
From this group, um, I could see Dustin doing it.
What about Ben Kingsley? I was thinking like Ben Kingsley in Iron Man 3 has Kieran Culkin vibes.
Yeah, he could do it. I think you need someone with like who can, because it's not like a truly, he's funny, but he's not like haha funny, but you still need that kind of like dickish energy.
Tom Hulse would be good if he had won.
Yeah.
That's all for now. I hope you were entertained by this silly game. Thanks and have a great day. That's from Mike. Mike and David R. You guys hash that out in the comments. Another email, Joyce, this one from our good friend Carlos. Emailed us at slugfest@goldderby.com. Hi, Chris and Joyce. I'm Carlos, and I wanted to know your thoughts about the second season of House of the Dragon. If you have seen it, of course, since I know you're not big fans of the series or Game of Thrones universe overall. As a diehard fan of this franchise, this season left me a bit underwhelmed. I just felt it felt like a long trailer for season three. Also, how do you think it will perform at the Winter Awards? I still can't believe that Globe win for season one after Game of Thrones never won. Have a nice day. That's from Carlos.
I have not watched season two, but I do know that everyone was underwhelmed by the finale on Sunday.
Yeah, it seemed like the tweets were like, fuck this. So
Very funny tweets.
I gotta say, I'm sure it'll get in again at the like I think it'll probably get nominations at the Emmys next year and at the Winter Awards, but I don't think it'll win anything for season two.
No, I can see depending. So I think it'll probably do better at the Winter Awards just because of like the different competition. And I it probably won't repeat that Globe win again. But I think like with the Emmys next year, it would really depend on the competition because we got like a lot of dramas coming back, like former nominees, former winners,
Last of
and
Us,
so
White Lotus.
yeah, like for HBO alone, like we knew last year that House of Dragon was fourth priority for HBO and drama series for sure, and it'll probably be at best third next year because they'll have White Lotus and Last of Us back. I
I
saw
gotta
the
say,
sizzle. I saw the 2025 sizzle.
can't freaking wait. I'm like so in on all those shows that got coming. Also, how about this show Duster, which is gonna be our favorite thing in the whole world? Josh Holloway, fucking FBI stuntman show. J.J. Abrams. I was like, hell yeah,
Listen,
great show.
I'm waiting for my
The
fake
Pit.
ER.
Yeah,
Yeah, my fake ER show with
they
Noah
were
Wyle, Dr.
running
Carter.
ads for that too. I cannot wait. HBO undefeated. I love it so much.
So, but yeah, because I think like last year it last year or Three Body Problem was the House of the Dragon this year because
Yeah,
last year
and
it like just got in. It got no other above the line nominations. It was carried by tech and also I think just the brand itself, like Game of Thrones and also like HBO visibility as well. So I think like next year, depending on the competition, we got, White Lotus, Last of Us, Severance will be back after 3 fucking years. Like who knows what's gonna happen with that too. Um, and we'll have the Diplomat season two, that got Kerry Russell in last time.
it's definitely
Um,
gonna be loaded. I just feel I gotta say, despite the finale, my sense is that people did actually like the second season more than the first until the finale. Again, just reading like the coverage and the tweets.
yeah, I think so. My perception of the show is that like if you are a diehard like House of Dragon or just Game of Thrones stan, like you really like the season, but I think it's having trouble pulling in like more casuals like Game of Thrones did.
Yeah.
And that's like I know some normies who have tried to watch it and like from season one this year, starting with season one this year, and like they can't get into it because it's like everyone like has the same name and like I just don't care about these people and I don't know what's happening. So I think if you really like the show, then like I think that's where a lot of the love is coming from online with it. But I don't know about acting nominations next year. I mean, like last year, it was like so many people were predicting, Emma Darcy and Matt Smith. Um, but I was like, I don't think any of them like Game of Thrones had trouble getting in people who were not named Peter Dinklage until like season three,
Right.
and they
I,
don't really have like a Peter Dinklage in their show.
no, I don't have any faith in Above the Line, but I do think it could get in for series again.
Yeah, I think it could still pull that lone series nomination just based off of crafts, but
Yeah.
I would not be surprised if it also missed depending on the competition next year.
A few more emails. This one's from Gabriel. Hi, Joyce and Chris. I just got back from watching Deadpool and Wolverine and immediately went back to listen to the email section of last week's episode. My take on the film, the action sequences are awesome. The one where they fight all the different Deadpools is extremely well done. That being said, the rest of the film was trying way too hard. I laughed at maybe a fifth of the jokes, if I'm being generous, and I was really rolling my eyes at the repeated Disney Fox references. However, there's no denying that it's a crowd pleaser because the crowd in my theater responded very positively to those. I did enjoy seeing Daphne Keene back as X-23, and I look forward to seeing where they go with that in the future. What did you think of the unhinged head explosion scene in episode 5 of Presumed Innocent? It was obviously revealed to be a dream, but for a second I thought the show was pulling an epic twist and becoming a spin-off of The Boys. Looking back at it at the moment, it still feels so tonally out of place. Also, what do you think about the BAFTA rule change? Most people seem pleased with the reduction of jury intervention, but I'm personally very disappointed since I love the chaos of the jury picks. Now the BAFTAs are going to be boring, and even as an Oscar precursor, they won't be all that helpful because of the sixth nominee in certain categories.
I laughed at that scene in Presumed Innocent. I thought it was hilarious.
It definitely surprised me. I didn't think it was going
Yeah.
to be like that. I thought that was a great scene. I'm all for dream sequences like that.
Yeah. I just love Presumed Innocent because it was so unserious, and I love unserious
Great
shows.
show.
Yeah.
Uh,
BAFTA changes, terrible. It'll be boring. So
you
now,
like
because
the juries?
I like because we need some spice during the season. It gets super boring in phase two.
It does. The juries were stupid, though, I thought.
Well, the way they went about it was stupid. I feel like they should have just because they kept changing it every year because they changed it every year because clearly it was just for show because of all
That's what
the
I mean.
backlash
That's
from
what I
the
mean.
double Margot Robbie nominations, right? Like they should have just like pick one thing and stuck to it the past 5 years or
And
whatever.
now,
Because
so
like they just kept changing it every year because it was like fully juried and then it was like, oh, two people and then three people, and now it's just like we'll just get rid of it because like the general public is mad that we snubbed Lily Gladstone.
so now, what will happen when they revert back to where we're getting double Margot Robbies, or will they have they learned their lesson?
No, because you can't control like the thousands of people in their actors branch from voting for what they want to vote for.
So will they reinstate something else then to make
I
this
don't know.
work?
I mean, I guess like if that happens again, something like that, they'll probably
Yeah,
try to
I'll
bring back another jury.
be
I
curious
just
too.
yeah, but it'll be boring now. Because it's just like it'll just be like rubber stamping and it's because people complain about like the same nominees and the same winners at every award show basically.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we actually get something interesting, like what BAFTA has done the last couple of years, people get mad when like their favorite or like the front runner is not nominated, right? Like Carey Mulligan, the first year of fully jury was not nominated for Promising Young Woman,
Right.
and then like they got backlash for that. So then that like the following year they changed it. It was like, oh, like then two, it's not fully juried. So they just kept responding to the backlash every year, and now it's completely gone.
And now we'll see if they respond to the backlash again. Eh,
Yeah, but there'll only be backlash if like film Twitter does not approve of what they did.
When will Film Twitter ever approve of anything?
Never. But like if they're mostly happy, then like they're not going to do anything.
I'm glad Gabriel brought up this scene in Deadpool.
Oh, like the fight. Yeah.
Can I ask a question about this? Like, I'm readily admitting I don't know, maybe understand this. Why does that scene take place when it does? Why do they come out and why are they fighting? Why are they fighting Deadpool and Wolverine at that moment? Why is that happening?
Because the sparkly circle thing is open.
So that stayed open. So they're just like, we hate Deadpool and Wolverine so much, we're just gonna come and fuck them up. Is that really the stakes of that scene, or am I missing something?
No, what's her name? Cassandra,
Nova, yeah.
right? Yeah. Cassandra makes them come.
She makes them come to
That's
divert
that's
Deadpool and
my that's
Wolverine.
my interpretation of it.
Okay. Because I was like, in my head, like that scene. So again, I don't know how things work, but already dozens of like videos of that scene, like from like a 4K like scan on Twitter, basically. Like I'm just like, this is not even on digital yet. How are people ripping this scene? But I've seen that scene a lot of times on social media since the movie came out.
No, my interpretation is like
She made them come out.
Cassandra makes them come
Okay.
to kill them
While
while
she,
she is
okay.
like dealing with Matthew McFadden.
Okay. That makes a little sense. So there we go.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's why the ring stays open.
okay. Because I was like, why wouldn't they just have done that scene in the void?
Because they escape the void.
This one's from Emilio. Some thoughts on the upcoming film award season, Joyce, your favorite. Hi, Joyce and Chris. It's Emilio. I haven't written to you in a while, but as always, I continue watching your videos. Happy Brat Summer, by the way. It's winter here, but I still vibrate. I want to talk about the movies that can be a complete disaster or really good. There is no middle ground. First up, Joker 2, the most likely to be a disaster. Even if the movie does well, I don't see Joaquin getting nominated. I think the focus of the campaign will be exclusively on Lady Gaga. We'll see if it works. On the other hand, Amy Adams for Night Bitch, who is first in the odds, seems to be a risky role to ensure that will be well received. Therefore, I'm not very sure that she will be nominated, and I'm not predicting her. What do you think of this? If it happens, I've always known it, and if it doesn't, I never said a word. LOL, love you guys. That's from Emilio.
I don't know if Joker would be a complete disaster.
So I don't know if you could believe the Venice guy, right? What's his name? Barbaro? What's
Hmm.
his name? He was
Um,
like, it's great.
like he says that about everything every year.
I got to say, after the latest trailer, I was more interested in the idea of it. The trailer came out like
I mean,
last
I
month.
was never like I'm not a huge fan of the first one anyway, so like I don't care. Like to me, if it's the same as the first one, fine. Um, I just can't wait to see the Gaga press tour.
I had the funniest tweet I've ever seen. I'm gonna find it because I was like legit. It made me legit LOL, as they say, or as I say. Was from Chris File. Joyce, do you know him?
Mhm. I
He
mean, I
hosts
know
this
of
has
him.
he hosts this has
Yes,
Oscar buzz.
I know who. He is.
I know I'm like acquaintances with him. I'm not friends with him, so I'm not gonna like pretend I'm friends with him. But it was from last month. A tweet from Variety. Lady Gaga singing in Joker 2 is, quote, unlike anything I've ever done before. Quote, how do you take music and have it just be an extension of the dialogue as opposed to breaking into song for no conceivable ... show more? That's the tweet. And then Chris Vile tweeted, the promo cycle hasn't even really begun, and we're already getting quotes with the blue show more button. I mean, that is like classic. This woman is gonna have the best press tour. Cannot wait.
I mean, she already started at the Olympics and she performed.
I
So,
cannot wait. So excited.
yeah.
And I'll be curious to see where they run her. Obviously, we don't know anything yet on these things, but we'll see. Uh,
Um,
Night Bitch, sure. I don't think I have Amy Adams in, frankly.
oh, I have her in first, but that's just for LOLs.
I don't think I even have her in
No.
anymore. So, uh, this one is from Elise. Emailed us at slugfest@golder.com. Joyce, I saved a lot of these at the end here, more Olympics minded. So they're basically
Great.
for you.
People are going to skip this section.
Joyce, what has been the most surprising development of the Olympics for you so far? Quinn Wen winning, Noel beating Carlos with one
No
knee,
way. No way?
Nole beating Carlos with one knee for the career Golden Slam, Bobby being the only man to win individual gold medal in swimming, something else. That's from Elise. Joyce, talk about the Olympics here.
My favorite time of the year. I'm so sad. We're in week two. It's
Yes.
almost over. I'm already in my week two depression. I talked to Phil Kogan last week, and we talked
Mm,
about the Olympics where we started, and he commiserated with me about like we get really sad when week two starts because it's almost over and there are
right.
fewer sports to watch. So like swimming is done, gymnastics is done, tennis is done. There are fewer, live streams on Peacock. It's really tough for me in the morning. Like before, there was just one thing on the multi-view option. I have it on right now. I'm like, just like everything is over, man. But I would say, I mean, like Kinwen beating Iga in the semis was pretty surprising, especially in straights, but Iga also played really poorly. Um, and so it wasn't like a huge surprise though. And Nole, I would say probably Nole beating Carlos for gold to complete the career Golden Slam just because of the forms of both of them coming in. Because Carlos is having like the summer of his life. Like he just won Roland Garros and Wimbledon, and he destroyed Nole in the Wimbledon final in straight sets. And Nole is having a subpar year by his standards. It'll be a great year by any other tennis player's standards, but he hasn't won a title yet. He split from his coach earlier this year. He busted his meniscus at the French and had surgery. He came back from Wimbledon, made the Wimbledon final, and played poorly for 2.5 sets. And so it just felt like even if he made this final, like he wouldn't win necessarily just because Carlos had so much momentum. But I mean, you just can't count out the goats because he like summoned all his willpower and he just channeled like peak Nole. He played the best match he's played all year. He won the whole tournament in straights and saved so many break points. Like there were no breaks in the whole match. And then he just peaked in both tie breaks and he had this like torpedo of a crosscut forehand at 2-all in the second set tiebreak that I think just broke Carlos because that
Mm-hmm.
he had given back the mini break. And then the point construction in that point was so good because it's so hard to get a ball past Carlos. And then he just lasered this crosscut forehand to get the mini break and won. Like Carlos didn't win on a point after that. And then he won the match and the gold. So and like he's 37. Like after he lost in the semis in Tokyo, I did not think he would win in Paris because I was like the like people like Carlos and Yannick who didn't play would be peaking now and he'll be too old, but no. So now he's won everything. He's won all the big titles in tennis. So like just on paper, like GOAT, like you could have your faves with like Raj and Rafa. And then Bobby being the only male swimmer for the US to win individual gold. I'm not surprised. I expected our swim team, especially the men, not to do as well as the women because we're still in like a transitional phase with developing our swimmers. But I thought more of them would advance out of like prelims and semis, and they did not. And Caleb did not have the best me because he not medaling in the 50 free was fine because that's just splash and dash, but he didn't make it out of the semis of the 100 fly. He went 51, which was bad, but he also had 4 swims that day because they put him on the mixed medley relay in the prelims, which I don't think they should have done. But yeah, it came down to the last individual male race for the US, and it was the 1500, and Bobby won and defended and broke the world record. So that was great to end on a good note for the men's or like individually for the men, but then we lost the men's medley relay for the first time ever in Olympic
Mm-hmm.
history. So the whiplash of that was hard.
How are you liking the peacock of it?
Peacock has been great, a lot better. They made so many like I enjoyed the Peacock experience with Tokyo too, but they just have added so much more stuff this time around. Like you could stream literally everything,
It's great.
everything that's going on, and the multi-view option is great. The only thing I would change is to make it customizable in the multi-view. Like I feel like you should be able to pick what 4 events you want to watch. So, but
That'll
it
be
has been
cool.
great overall.
Uh, we got a few more about the Olympics. So I'll just do this one is about TV, and it's from our old friend, judgmental TV fan Joyce.
Oh, they're back.
They're back. Hi, Joyce and Chris. I love that Paul W. Downs received an acting nomination for Hacks. Does he have any chance to win though? He has the perfect submission episode, and it's really not fair for Evan Moss Backrack to basically win for Forks twice.
I don't think he's winning. I would love it, but
Not. I have him in second. I don't think he's winning.
yeah. I don't even under the tape system. I don't know if he would beat Forks.
I don't think anything can beat Forks.
So this is just going to be like Brett Goldstein again. He won twice for Rainbow.
I mean,
So
next year Paul will have his own Forks.
yeah, maybe.
Who
So
knows?
he's going to produce the Fatty Arbuckle movie. So
Now we have from judgmental TV to judgmental sports fan Joyce.
are they
I think the
related?
listeners are getting hip to these anonymous slogans or
I
monikers.
love aliases.
Yeah, it says slogans. I said like an idiot. Hi, Joyce and Chris. 4-year fans are the worst. Why did everyone act like Coco Gauff was right when she threw a tantrum when it was very clear she was wrong? Why is everyone acting like Simone using Taylor Swift and Jordan using Beyonce for floor is somehow brand new information? Also, Suni actually has the best floor music. And speaking of gymnastics, what the heck was with all the shushing during the beam final? That's from Judgmental Sports Fan.
Love judgmental sports fan. Um, yeah, 4-year fans, aka the people who just pay attention to Olympic sports during
Yes.
the Olympics. They can be very annoying. I understand why they exist, and I don't have a problem with them existing. I only have a problem with them when they act like they know stuff about something they don't follow.
Right.
That's my only thing. It's like they're being like authoritatively ignorant about something, which is just like Twitter in general. People just tweet shit and
Just
like act like they're
life.
right. Yeah, that's
There's a
life.
lot of
But
confidence in being stupid now.
yeah, but like it happens obviously with the Olympics every 4 years. Like, these athletes, do these things, play these sports 24/7, 365. You can watch them during the quad. Most people don't. But yeah, so like the Coco controversy, she was mad because she was in the wrong. Because there's no video review in tennis, but she was in the wrong because Donna Vekic hit a ball deep on the baseline and Coco netted her forehand. Her forehand's also terrible anyway, but she netted the forehand and there was an out call that was overruled by the ump. And but the call in the slow-mo that people fans have done, like the call came after Coco made contact with the ball, so it did not hinder her swing. But she was claiming that the call did hinder her swing, so she got into it with the ump, and obviously like Twitter, not tennis Twitter, because tennis Twitter was like on top of it, but like general Twitter was like trying to back her up and because like she has gone into it like umps before and like sometimes she's right. In this case, she was wrong. But it was just like they just want to defend this person that they've heard
Mm-hmm.
about before who won the US Open last year and is our top ranked female player and was the flag bearer at the Olympics. And then the gymnastics stuff, yeah. The music, yeah, a lot of SEO play or SEO chasing with like, Simone dancing to Beyonce and stuff like that. It reminded me of, the Succession music pickup after figure skating worlds for Ilya.
Yeah.
It's like he's been skating to this the whole season. Simone's been her this has been her floor music the whole season. You're just not paying attention.
Right.
You could have watched Olympic trials in June and saw the same thing and heard the same music. But yeah, Suni has the best floor music, Lindsay Sterling, and also the best routine because she actually has artistry in her routine and it's not all just like power and tumbling passes. And then the slushing thing at the beam final yesterday. Yeah, the aura was bad on that one, and like almost all of the finalists fell off beam. And like basically like what they were saying, like Suni and Simone were saying afterwards was that like the other gymnasts, they were cheering for the person who was competing on beam, and then the fans in the audience were like shushing the athletes from cheering, and they're like, what the fuck? Because like they're used to performing with people cheering for them. So it was weirder for them to have silence. And
Bad
that,
vibes.
yeah, so it was like bad vibes. So it's just like another kind of like 4-year fans thing where it's like you don't understand like they actually want people to cheer for them. So
This one's from Patrick Joyce, another Olympics one.
great.
Hi, Joyce.
Wow, not even you.
No. Sorry in advance for the long sports question, but I know how much you love the Olympics. The U.S. managed to beat Australia in swimming, but it literally came down to the last race. Given the way the men performed in Paris, I'm a little concerned about the future of the team. Murph and Caleb weren't as reliable as they have been in the past, which could be their ages, could have been exacerbated by the shallow pool, and I don't even know that either will try for LA. Caleb should consider not swimming if that double, if so. But I just feel like we have a lot of holes to fill. What are your thoughts? Is this the end of American dominance in the pool?
Um, I think like for them, I'm more concerned about the men than the women because I think our most of our top female swimmers are still young enough. Especially someone like Reagan who swam really well this week, that she walked away with three individual silvers, and she's like our Laszlo Che this year because Laszlo got three individual silvers behind Michael Phelps and Ryan Lochte in 2008. But like the men, yeah, like our stalwarts are getting older. Like Murph is 29 and he didn't make the 200 back final. Caleb, I think, he's still on his comeback because he took almost a year off after withdrawing from Worlds 2 years ago. But he finished. I mean, both of them finished well with on the relays with their splits. Like Caleb split 49.4 on the medley on the fly, so that was good. And I do think maybe he can't do like the 50 free and 100 fly double again. Like maybe he just should just concentrate, or maybe he should drop one of those two or and the 100 free. But I think we really need to develop an elite male breaststroker, and we haven't really had one since Brendan Hansen. And like Nick Fink did well this year. He got silver by like hundredths, but he's also old. And yeah, like it was a great story because he's like a dad to be. Like, he has like a real job and he trains for the Olympics and he made the team and he got silver. It was like similar to like Cody Miller in Rio, who was also like, not like he was a veteran and it was just like a nice story. He got bronze individually. And then last time in Tokyo was Michael Andrew, who was young, but also has unorthodox training methods, and he didn't make the team this time. So I think we really need a breaststroker, or we're gonna get fucked in the medley relay in
Mm-hmm.
LA and our home games next time. If like we really need a breaststroker if we want to take back that title. But I think like we've also been spoiled with Michael Phelps and Ryan Lochte and Caleb for so many years. So I'm also afraid of like having a gymnastics lull if Simone does retire because I also
Mm-hmm.
don't really see her going for LA. Maybe she could just do like vault and floor then, but yeah.
One more Olympics one, and then we'll close out with a Marvel question, Joyce. This one's from Rachel, though, for the Olympics. Regarding the Olympics, is kayak cross the coolest sport in existence?
Fantastic addition to the games.
What is this sport, Joyce?
Oh my God, you need to watch it. Just go to Peacock and watch the replay. I mean, like snowboard cross.
Mm-hmm.
So this is just on water.
Got it.
It's like melted snow. So it's just like it's like a huge drop in for kayaks, and it's just an obstacle course. It looks like something that should have been on Guts on Nickelodeon.
Okay, that
It's
sounds
a lot
fun.
of fun. It's a lot of fun. There's like a part where they have to do a barrel roll, so they get literally like turn upside down, like they dip, turn upside down, come back up. Um, and it's yeah, there's like huge waves crashing all over, so it's a lot of fun. It just ended yesterday. Yeah, so that's a great addition.
And then the last one, this one's from Allison, Joyce. Emailed us at slugfest@goldderby.com. If we didn't get to your email, we'll get to it next week. Hi, Justin Chris. This question is a little late now, but do you think Robert Downey Jr. returning to the MCU is going to affect his Emmy campaign at all? People seemed really divided on whether this was a good idea, and that was before they found out how much money he's making to do it. Joyce, if you've
Uh,
been asleep, yeah, Robert Downey Jr. back to play
Doctor Doom.
Doctor Doom in Marvel.
Yeah. This is not gonna affect the Emmys at all.
No, I thought it was a good idea myself.
I don't care at all.
I was like, the Russo brothers output other than Marvel movies, questionable. So bring in, and the Marvel movies without the Russos, questionable. So bring them back together and let them make some movies. I'm good with that.
It's so obviously this they had to change course from Kang
Yeah,
because
whatever happened to Jonathan Majors?
I heard he's heartbroken
Hmm.
that he's no longer playing Kang and
Yeah.
Kang Dynasty is a no-go now. So Um, and I also, because like the reports say that RDJ was like, I only do it if you get the Russos back.
Right.
Open the purse strings for all three of us.
I, I'm in. I think it's gonna be fine. I also was like, the biggest problem with the Marvel movies post Endgame is that they didn't just reset everything to me.
I think what actually hurt them was the arrival of Disney Plus because they had to churn out content for Disney Plus.
Yeah.
And I would say they're not all misses, but like their best stuff is like WandaVision and Loki. And like the other stuff is like fine mostly. But
Less
it's like
memorable.
they're introducing so many new characters to and like not just in the shows, but also in these movies, right? Like, are we ever going to see Charlize Theron again?
No. I I was thinking though in terms of the Emmys, when we talked about our first picks, I think we both had Jonathan Bailey, and you were like, you have RGJ like second, and you convinced me to move him back up there, and you were like, would he just win like Mark Ruffalo style as the biggest name check, and like he's super famous and he's good on the show, playing multiple roles, and maybe he'll just win, and it'll be so obvious that it's like almost foolish to think otherwise. And I'm like, maybe you're right. Maybe that will. I mean, like I think there's a lot of affection for Jonathan Bailey. Certainly online, there's more affection for him than Robert Downey Jr. But I do think Emmy voters might just be like, we love Robert Downey Jr. Why wouldn't he win? Even with one nomination, they don't care that the show flopped.
I don't
Like,
think most of them know that the show only has one nomination.
and they like him, right? Like he's the guy. Still the guy. So I don't think it's like going to hurt his anything. If anything, I would think it maybe would help it because it keeps him in the conversation and reminds you of something that you really love that he did.
Yeah, and it's also like he's like willing it's not like like Marvel was already successful, but it's like he's not like forgetting where he came from or whatever, right? But like it's like he's like willing to go back to something. It's a different character, obviously, but
Well, I
um
I guess we'll see. Like, I'd be curious to see if it's like a variant of Tony based on how he's like teased it, right? Same math, different math, same task or whatever.
the new task,
Same mask
same, yeah,
or
or
whatever. New mask, same task. That was it.
I don't think it'll be a variant, but yeah, I mean like the outrage is just mostly online, right? Like no one in the real world cares about this, and I would say most people in the real world like it.
Yeah, he's great. Who doesn't love Robert Downey Jr. in Marvel movies? Like, it makes a lot of
So
sense.
like my normie friends like have no problem with it. It's like film Twitter that's mad. Like the responses that killed me were the ones that were just like Oscar voters are going to resent like voting for him now. And like they don't give a fuck. Like why would they care like what he does with his life now? Like they were not waiting to give him an Oscar because he left the MCU.
No, and also yes, and in the entire press for Oppenheimer, and then also for the Sympathizer, which carried through into the spring while Oscars were happening. Uh, he spoke glowingly about Marvel. Never
Yeah,
said he wouldn't return. He always said like I would think about it. He never was like I'm done with that. He never pretended he was better than Marvel or
no.
better than those
He's
movies.
grateful to Marvel.
So like I was like I think the Oscar voters also like half the actors are in these fucking movies. Like it's just is
Yeah, it
like
has
nobody
like
cares.
it has like more than like 100 Oscar nominees in the whole MCU. The MCU has a bunch of Oscar nominated
There
actors in
was
it.
Harrison Ford already. Another can't wait for the press tour and it's already started. Anything Harrison Ford has said about this fucking Captain America movie has been
Do not ask this man about anchor beings. Why would you ask him
the
that?
best. But the one thing he said about it was like I think at Comic-Con he was like I watch these Marvel movies, everybody's having fun. I want to have fun. I'm like that's what people think. They don't think these are like bad. They think it's cool. Like
Yeah,
Harrison
like the
Ford.
real world wants to have fun, and it's really just online people being snobby about it and like
Mhm.
poo-pooing popcorn blockbusters. Like people just want to be entertained. Like there was a similar quote from Josh Hartnett last week, I think, on his Trap press tour when he talked about like how, he took a break from acting and stuff. And he said like he was just he had this like kind of paraphrasing, but like this like elitist attitude about like being really picky with the roles that he was being offered back in the day. And eventually he just realized that like audiences don't care about his choices, like they just want to be entertained.
Right.
So, and it's like RDJ when he made or asked Gwyneth to play Pepper back in the day in Iron Man, he literally said to her, like, don't you want to be in a movie that people actually watch?
Pretty great.
Like, he knows people are going to watch these two Avengers movies, right?
Yeah.
And like, yes, he is getting paid a shit ton of money for it. It's like 80 million. That's
Who
a lot of money.
knows?
But like it's like that's his right to, you know,
Yeah, I never begrudge anyone from making a lot of money because like
no.
if that's what they're getting paid, that's what they get, right? I'm not paying it, but somebody else thought they were worth that much money, so
Yeah.
that's it.
Like you can say that that money could be put to better use somewhere, sure.
Sure.
But they're
Yes.
choosing to give it to him, and
Yes.
that's fine. And he's leveraging his clout to get it. I think
Yes.
that's also fine and valid. He's looking out for himself and he wants to entertain fans. I think that's fine.
Maybe he won't win an Emmy, Joyce. Maybe I'll go
And
back to
that it also, this doesn't preclude him. I think that's also, I think people want him to make, like prestige stuff now, but this doesn't preclude him from doing that too, you know?
well, he's gonna. The funniest thing is like everybody's like, man, fuck Robert Downey Jr. Whatever, blah blah blah. And then like all this whole fall, he's gonna be doing a Broadway
Yeah,
show.
people have forgotten that he's going to be on Broadway this fall.
He's gonna do a play, just like a one man show basically for like
Like he's chasing that Tony
like
too,
for 3 months on stage on Broadway, like talk about like
and then he's
no
gonna sue the
net,
bassoon.
big
So
challenge, right? Like it's just is like I don't know. So I'm pro Robert Downey Jr. and I don't think it'll hurt his Emmy chances. If anything, maybe it helps. I don't know if he's gonna win, but maybe he will. Great stuff there. Who knows? Joyce, this was fun. Email us at slugfest@goldderby.com. We'll talk to you next week. All right. Bye.